Hi, seventh grade. Tomorrow you will have a unit test, and what I wanted to do is go over just a couple of the graphs that we've been talking about the last 2 weeks. Kind of break it down for you a little bit, review a little bit. So as you see, the first one is a bar graph. What we have are students at Central Junior High were surveyed and asked about their favorite after-school snack. The bar graph shows the results of this survey. So already it does give us, remember that the bar graph does not give us percentages, but it does give us amounts. And we know that chips and dip, there were 75 preferred that. And we know that because it comes right down here to 75. Ice cream was 60. Fruit was 30. And if we notice, we are given one without a label. So we need to see how many. If you notice, I have 1, 2, 3 spaces, and the difference between these two numbers is 15. So 15 divided by 3 is going to give me 5. So that means that the increments are going to be 45 plus 5 is 50, and then 55. So this one is 55. Okay, so from this survey, we need to know the total. Yeah, we're going to add up these two numbers. And remember that when you're given a large set of data, the easiest way is to add two numbers. So 7 and 6 is 13, 135. I know you're supposed to start and move right to left. All right, so here, 5 and 0, 5, and then 8, and it's a lot easier to add. Carry 1, 8 and 3, 12, and 2. So 220 people were actually surveyed. So based on this information, and remember that this is our total, and these are parts. So I'm not even looking at this. I just kind of wanted to use this graph to kind of talk about it. How can we find the percentage of each part? That's right. You always do your part divided by your whole. So if I wanted to find the percentage of chips and dip, it would be 75 divided by 220, or 60 divided by 220, or 30 divided by 220. I think you get the idea, right? Okay, so let's see what our answer choice is and what they're trying to ask. So twice as many students chose ice cream as chose fruit for their favorite snack. Okay, so the ones that chose ice cream are 60. The ones that chose fruit is 30. Is that twice as many students? Yeah. And remember, I'm going to go ahead and just put my check right here, because I am going to continue to read. Sometimes we make simple mistakes like this, especially it didn't ask for which one was not, so I'm not going to do my not box, but this is it can still be kind of tricky. Twice as many students chose chips and dip as those for ice cream. No, because if I were to, if this were twice this, then this should be 120. Okay, because 60 times 2 is 120. So that one is out. The same number of students chose chips and dip, and we know that can't be because neither one of those graphs is the same length. And 15 more students chose ice cream, so 15 than cheese and crackers. No, we know that because this is only 5 more. Okay, so obviously A is our choice. So the big thing here that I wanted to point out is some of you are getting kind of stuck on this whole part to whole. When you want to convert to any percentages from a bar graph, make sure that you divide your part divided by your total. Okay? All right. And remember, you can also, and if you remember, we set that when you're looking for the percentage. Okay? If you do the part divided by whole, it's going to give you a decimal. But remember, when we do it in the tic-tac-toe, because this is something that we've already done. Okay? Let's look at the next one. What is the difference between the spreads of the two plots? Well, first let's kind of talk about it. I know some of you have already chosen your answer. All you have to do is compare the ranges, right? So the range here is, the range is 20 minus 12 equals 8. The range here would be 22, is 22 minus, and we have 10, equals 12, okay? So obviously real quick, if you notice, they give us 12 and 8, right? They're expecting you to do that. Oh, cool, I found the range and it's an answer choice. I'm gonna go ahead and circle it. But that's not what the question asks for. It says, what is the difference, okay? And we're gonna use subtraction to do that, between the two spreads of, okay? So that means that I need to subtract. And so I'm gonna use my larger number and subtract the smaller number, which gives me 4. Okay, and now look at your answer choices. I love this one because pretty much everybody in the room will get one of these answers no matter what they do with the data. 12, I only found the spread for one box plot. The 8, I found it for the second one. If you notice, the number 20 is if you were to use the wrong algorithm, meaning you used addition instead of subtraction, you would get 12 plus 8 is 20. But the answer choice was actually 4. I do want to use this opportunity to kind of talk about a little bit more of the box plots. If you notice, both box plots are pretty symmetrical. It means that they're the same on both sides. Now the interquartile range is a little bit smaller for plot 2 than plot 1. The median data is a little bit more in the middle on plot 1 than plot 2. I don't really have any large outliers or one that skews the data. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of tough because they're only talking about perimeter. All right, let's move on to the next one. The circle graph below shows the distribution of the 80 colored tiles in a box. So my 80, okay, is 100%. Okay, this is the actual count, and this is my percentage. So before I ever start, how would I determine what the percentage would be of blue? So when you are given a circle graph, 25%, and this goes right back to in the fall when we use tic-tac-toe. Okay, remember we talked about the percentages, 100. Now 80 is a count, okay, that is not a percentage, but it is 100%. Okay, and we talked about the whole, and we talked about the part. So whenever you're looking for any counts, they go in the left-hand column and the percentages always go in the right. So the part that I'm looking for, that's what I need. And I'm looking for 25%, okay? Remember that I can, and you don't need this percentage right here because it's already in a percentage. Can I reduce any of these numbers? I just did a 0 for a 0. I have a greatest common factor of 5. Nope, can't be 10. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now I have a common factor of 2 here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and that was my goal, to have 1 across from the x. And the 8 divided by 2 is 4. And remember on the tic-tac-toe, I multiply. 5 times 4 equals 20. So 20 of the tiles would be blue, and the same percentage would be 20. Okay. Now the difference, so the other 40 is going to be distributed here. I'm going to go ahead and set up another one. And remember that the tic-tac-toe can easily go down to the 4 square without the labels. So I'm looking for 30% now. out of 80 and x, so I can take a 0 for a 0. And I do have a common multiple here of 10, another 0 for a 0 here. And now it's just multiplying. So 8 times 3 is equal to 24. Okay? And I know we haven't even looked for the question. I just kind of wanted to review this. Okay? So I know that if this is 24, this is 20, do I need to do another tic-tac-toe? No. 40 remained. 40 minus 24 would give you 16. Okay? How many more red tiles than green tiles are in the box? So, that's right, 24 minus 16 would give you 8. Okay? And the last one, using a dot plot. Each family, we'll look at my time, we're doing good. Each family in a neighborhood kept a record of the number of telemarketing calls that they had received each day for a week. The information they collected is shown in the dot plot below. So they want to know what percent of the group received a 2 or 3 telemarketing calls a week. So remember that to find a percent, it's the part divided by the whole. Okay? And then set it up in a tic-tac-toe out of 100. So received a 2 or 3, that's my goal. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my part that I'm looking for is a 6. Now what is my total? 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to count everything but now. 3, 4, 5, 6 plus my original 6 is 12. Already, I'm not even going to do the math. I know that 6 and 12, that's actually 50%, right? But we're going to go ahead and solve. Can I reduce? Absolutely. Okay, and we know we can reduce even more. 100 divided by 2 is 50. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And I have a 1 across from my x, so my answer would be 50%. Okay, and remember this is most of the data here is to the right. If I were to find the median, just as a quick review, you start on your left, cross one out. Start on the right, cross one out. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And obviously the median value is going to be a 3. Okay? All right. Be prepared. Look at your notes. Study them. I think this will be an easy unit. Your unit test is going to be tomorrow when you come for core. For the remainder of the day, I do want you to do IXL, finish your diagnostic, as well as do a math lesson online. See you tomorrow.